Yo, what's up? It's your boy Six and welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be teaching you a no setup card trick that you can do with any deck of cards. As you can see, my setup's a little bit different. I'm actually trying out a few different angles to see if I can find one that I like a little bit better than what we have currently, or maybe just to switch it up every once in a while so it's not the same old background. Today I'll be teaching you an effect called the Magic Lesson from Roy Walton. It's a simple effect, but it's something that I feel like you would use. Occasionally someone's going to ask you, hey, do you play cards? I wouldn't want to play poker with you. And this is a good effect that you can throw in to show them how someone would control playing cards. Now, Roy Walton is one of the most prolific creators in all of Magic, and his books, the Complete Walton series, is absolutely fantastic, and I highly recommend you pick them up if you do not own them already. And just some background on the effect: it was originally published in 1974 in the Pallbearers Review, Volume 9, Number 3, but you can also find it in the Complete Walton series. I forget which book it's in, but I'll probably leave it in the description below. Alright, so let's take a look at this effect. It's something that I kind of throw in if I'm in a performance and somebody brings up the idea of controlling cards, but I'd also mention that sometimes the cards can actually control themselves. And I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. So I'll use these cards, but I wouldn't use the full deck. I'd probably use like a poker hand's worth of cards if we had a few, maybe like 3 people playing, so we'd have a few hands of poker. And then let's say I loaded in my aces on top of the pack. And I have the spectators cut the cards like this just to give them a small example. So you cut the cards, lose the aces somewhere in the middle. We'll add a few shuffles like this just so the cards are really mixed. And maybe you think that we're not mixing them enough, so I'm going to even go through and really separate those cards and make sure that those aces are separated at some point. And again, the spectator can cut as many times as they want, doesn't make a difference. I'll throw in a few more shuffles just like this, and again they can cut, and we'll do one more mix just to make sure that they're absolutely completely separated, and you get the idea. So I can even show you that the cards are really like lost, that the aces are, we can move them away from each other, but they're really in different locations. It doesn't make a difference. The idea is this: I promise you that I'll show you how cards can be controlled, and sometimes the cards will control themselves, and I'll show you what I mean. I'll let the cards do all the work because I'll do a process of elimination. I'll get rid of one card, place one under, and let the luck take its toll. As you can see, I eliminate the cards. Remember, you shuffled, you cut, all the cards are mixed over and over again, and if I go through just like this, I'm now left with 4 cards, just like if I was dealt the cards in the poker hand. And the strange thing is that I'm left with the 1, 2, 3, 4 aces. And that is the magic lesson. Alright, so let's take a look at the explanation for this effect. As I said, it's a great effect to add in when somebody talks about controlling cards and you want to show them how the cards can potentially control themselves. Again, no setup, any deck of cards, which makes it really nice. I go ahead, I pull out the 4 aces for this demonstration. And I put it around controlling cards as like a presentational hook. I just think it makes more sense with the 4 aces, controlling the cards. And I also use the idea of not using, because you don't use the whole packet for this, you use a few cards. And I use the idea of, let's say we had a few poker hands and the aces. To be honest, the number of cards is what makes the effect work. I'm just adding something to it to make it make sense. So now I'm going to go through and I have to take out some cards, and I'm going to take out exactly 11 cards. And again, my justification is, we need a few poker hands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push over 5 cards. That's the first thing I do. But again, I need 11. So the way I do this is I do 5, then I push over 3, and then I push over 3 more. And it's a quick way to count to 11 as opposed to going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't want them to know there's 11 cards. They don't need to know the number. It's none of their business. Keep it to yourself. So you push over, you say, we do a few poker hands like this, as if we were playing poker. And now I've done it, right? So I went through, I got my 5, my 3, and then my 3. So I have 11 cards here. Now, what's important is I have to turn the cards and show them to the spectator and say they're all different. When I do this, I'm actually looking at the 4th card from the top. So as I can see here, this is the Joker. That is my 4th card, and I'm going to remember that card. Now again, if you're doing it with a regular shuffle deck, you're just remembering whatever 4th card is there. If you don't feel comfortable remembering any random card, just put your favorite card in the 4th position when you start the trick, and then you're good to go. So you have the 4 aces on the table, cut your favorite card to the 4th position, and then take the top 11 cards, and then you can start. I just memorized the 4th card, which in this case is a joker. This packet goes face down, and now I come back to the aces and say, you know, like the cards will control themselves in poker. It would be great to have the 4 aces for a poker hand. I'm going to place it on top, and I tell the spectator, go ahead. I want you to go ahead and cut the cards yourselves as much as you like. They give the cards a few cuts like this. And then I say I'm going to give the cards a few shuffles, and this is great. This is what I'm actually doing is what's called the Charlier shuffle. Now the cuts they gave the deck are real. What's nice about the Charlier shuffle is it's essentially acting as a way to cut the cards. So I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to push over a few cards just like this, grab it in the right hand. I'm going to go to place that underneath, but really what happens as this goes underneath, my left hand pushes out a few cards from the bottom. I'm now going to grab those few cards and place it on top. As the right hand comes back to the top and my thumb pushes over a few more cards. And now I can go back to the bottom, take a few more cards, back to the top. Really, the right hand is just going top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom. And when I do that, as I go to the bottom like this, I'm placing a few cards on top of the right hand packet. Now I'm placing the left hand cards underneath. Now I'm placing it on top. Now I'm placing it underneath, and I'm placing it back on top. All that really does is cut the packet. It's a way of doing a single cut. Because when you cut the packet, normally those bottom cards are going to end up here anyway. You're just putting them there before they get there. Normally, if you were cutting the packet, this top half would end up underneath the bottom pack. You're just putting it there anyway. And you do that a few times, and that just puts the cards in a single cut order. It's a really convincing illusion because it looks like you're really shuffling the cards up really well, but all you're doing is giving a single cut. So then you can say, well, maybe that shuffle, maybe you want a more thorough shuffle. So I'm going to go through and take up the cards like this. And now this is what I'm doing specifically here. It's called the anti-faro. And I'm going to just show you exactly what it is so you can follow along. I'm going to take the top card, push it over, and I'm going to slide that card down. And I'm pushing the second card forward. So basically, I'm up jogging every even card. So the second card gets up jogged. I'm bringing the odd card back, which is the third card. Now the fourth card gets up jogged, bringing back the fifth card. Now the sixth card gets up jogged. Every even card or every other card is simply getting up jogged until I can't up jog no more. And this is what's called the straddle faro, in which there's a card on the bottom and the top. So this way you know your position's correct. Now you're going to take this packet from the top, the forward packet, pull it out, and then simply place it on top. I like to make it look sloppy. I'll drop the cards on the table like this to look like it's an additional cut and pick those cards up. Now you can have the spectator cut the cards as much as they want. Again, you can do the Charlier shuffle. All of this is just making it look like you randomize the cards. And now you have to do that anti-faro one more time. So you're doing it twice in this whole routine to make this work. Again, you're going to grab the top card, pull it back, up jog the even card, the second card, then the fourth card. Every other card is getting up jogged all the way through until we can again pull out the forward packet. And again, this forward packet, the even cards, right, the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, those are all going on the top. So again, I pull those out, drop this on the table, say, look, we mix the cards up. It really doesn't matter. And then you can go ahead, you can give it one last Charlier shuffle and tell them one more time to give the cards a cut. And this really looks like the cards are getting mixed. So this is, for spectators, this is very strong and convincing that you have no idea where the aces are. In fact, what's nice is that you can show the cards and say, look, the aces are in different spots. This is actually part of the method. So it looks like you're just being nice by saying, look, you can see the aces are all in different places. It doesn't matter. But you have to find that fourth card that you remembered. The fourth card that I remembered was the Joker. And what you have to do is bring that to the face of the packet. So you're doing a cut to bring it to the face. So usually I'll just spread through as I talk and I say, look, you can see the aces are all in different places. That's it. I separate my hands at the Joker and I take this whole left hand packet and now I put it on the top. I say, look, you can see the aces everywhere, and I cut to wherever that fourth card is, bringing that card that I remembered at the beginning to the face of the packet. Now this goes face down. Now I leave the cards to chance. And what does that mean? Well, as if I was playing a poker hand, but I'm going to play with the cards. I deal one card on the table, I take the next card, deal it underneath. This is a down-under deal. One goes down to the table, the next goes under. One goes down to the table, the next goes under, and you continue all the way until you have 4 cards left in your hand. Again, back to the table, one goes under, back to the table, one goes under, and then finally to the table. So I have 4 cards left. Once I have 4 cards left, I can tell them we shuffled, we mixed the cards, completely random order, and we left it all to chance. We left the controlling of the cards to the cards, and let's see how we did. We now have the 1, 2, 3, 4 aces. And it's a great little routine. It's good to have in your arsenal. I think it's fun. I think you have a great time performing it. People will be amazed. Like I said, it's not something that I go out of my way to perform, but I definitely keep it there just in case I find the right opportunity. There you have it, a wonderful effect from the brilliant mind of Roy Walton. Listen, if you've been enjoying my videos, please make sure to subscribe. A, it really just keeps me motivated and lets me know I should keep putting out videos. B, it lets YouTube know that you're enjoying my videos, and that helps push my videos a little bit as well. So I appreciate your support. Thank you all so much. And until next time, be safe, be well, and I'll see you in the next video.
Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my